Hey guys, it's Mac with Kirkpatrick Woodshop. Today I'm going to show you how I like to trim windows. This is at my house. So we're going to trim with the windowsill already there. We just have to add 3 pieces of trim. It is going to be a little tricky because we have some wainscoting trim that comes into that. So we'll have to take an oscillating saw and trim that back, cut that back. But real quick, first thing I wanted to show you kind of what you'll need, some tools, obviously a tape measure, a pencil. I really like to use a combination square. This one's from Swanson. It helps with adding or getting your reveal around the casing of the window. You don't need to, but it's a lot quicker if you have a brad nailer. I like to use 1¼ inch and 2-inch brads. This is an 18 gauge. Obviously, you would then need an air compressor as well. Finally, kind of to finish out the job, to caulk the seams and where it matches up with the drywall, I like using this fast dry from DAP. Dries in 20 minutes, ready for paint. And then a step stool if you're short like I am. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to get the blinds down and mark out our reveal, and we'll get ready to start cutting some pieces of wood. So stay tuned and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. So we'll get started and hope you enjoy this video. So first thing we're going to do is get the blinds off the window. There are brackets in either corner. Once you remove the decorative stripping across the top, the first thing you want to do though is go ahead and lift the blinds up. It helps removing them easier. So we'll lift those up, and then you can just pop these tabs back. Lift them up like that. Do that on both sides. And then the blinds should slide right out. With this being a double window, they are going to be pretty heavy. And they come out real easy. Okay, so the next step, once you get the blinds down, is I like to do around a 2/16 reveal from the window casing and the trim. So I'm going to take my combination square and I'm going to set it to 2/16 and like that. And then it's real easy. You just kind of run around the window and mark. I like to do a mark at the beginning of the top and bottom, and then one in the middle. And then I try to make a 90-degree corner so that the 2 pieces can match up together. Alright, so now that I've got it marked, you can see right here, this is the issue that we're going to have, is with this wainscoting that they put down here, they ran the trim flush with the window. So we'll get to that, we'll remove the piece that we need to once we get to that part of the window. We're going to start on the left side. But basically what I want to do is run the trim and cut back this wainscoting trim flush with the new trim that's going to frame out this window. So first thing to do, or the next thing to do, is go ahead and get a quick measurement, a rough idea of what we need to cut. I like to just work on one side and work my way around. So our first piece needs to roughly be 59.5. So we will cut a flush new bottom edge on the trim. Then we'll cut our 45 that goes out, and we'll bring that piece in, and then we'll be able to take it right to our line that we marked, and then we can mark the piece of wood and make our finished cut on the piece of trim and just kind of work our way around. So we'll go and do that out at the miter saw. Okay, so we're out here at the miter saw. We're gonna go ahead and cut a new blunt edge, 90-degree edge. we're gonna hang this trim with the wide side facing out and then the thinner side in towards the window. So we're gonna go ahead and cut a nice crisp edge. This is what's gonna be down onto the windowsill, so we'll make sure we get it nice and flush. All right, so now that we have that cut 90, we'll go ahead and make our 59.5 measurement. And with this being on the left side of the window, you want the trim, you want the 90 degree be going from the right up towards the left. So we'll put our outside edge along the miter saw. We'll move it to the 45-degree stop. And we'll sneak up onto the mark that we made. So as you can see, I'm not quite to my mark, but with this being our first cut, and this isn't the finished height of our trim, it's okay. We'll go inside and we'll mark from the 2/16 reveal that's on the wall. We'll go ahead and mark that on our piece of wood, and that should give us the exact dimension that we need. So let's go ahead and go back inside and get that measured. Back inside, we're gonna put this piece up against the wall. So we're on the left side of the window. We've got it marked. We've got it flush with our windowsill. It's at our 2/16 mark. So now all we have to do is come up here to the top. And up here at the top of the window where we made our reveal mark, we just need to match that up. Just like that. So we'll transfer the line as close as we can. Looks pretty good to me. We'll go back out to the miter saw. We'll make that cut. We'll sneak up to it and make that cut flush, and we should be able to install that and come back and install this piece of wood on the wall. So we'll go back outside. Okay, so here's a little trick that can help you transfer this line all the way across, because if you leave that mark right here, you won't be able to see it as well with the miter saw. So I like to take my combination square and match it up to that line and pull tight, and then it gives you a nice 90 straight line. And then I transfer the line to the top of the piece of the wood, and now I should be able to see it nice and easy with the miter saw, and I can sneak up to it and make our final cut. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start to work our way towards that line. Keep gradually getting closer to it to make sure we don't take off too much. Okay, so now that we've got our we got it cut down to our mark, we'll set it on the windowsill. It's set up on there. We got it at our reveal all the way up, and it matches up perfectly with where we marked. So the next thing to do is get the air compressor hooked up and the gun ready to go, and pop in some 1 1/4 brads and then some 2-inch brads to just seal it to help secure the trim all the way to the wall. So we'll do that, and then we'll move on to our top piece and keep working our way around the window. Okay, so we've got the air compressor and the brad nailer hooked up. What I like to do is I get the wood matched up onto the windowsill. I start with the 1 1/4 brads, and I get it right on my reveal mark. Once I've got that, check to make sure we're pushed all the way back, and I go ahead and pop 1 brad in. I'll work my way up to my next mark, get it on the same line, pop 1 more, and go ahead and push over the last bit and do the last one. I'll switch over to 2-inch just to finish it out, and To add more support, I typically run those along the outside, and then we'll get to cutting the next piece. Okay, so I've already cut the remaining angle to finish off the 90 for this left side. What you do is you take this piece of wood, or this piece of trim, and rest it up on your corner. And you can make your mark again. I would go ahead and add maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then we can make that cut and we can slowly bring it back to our mark. Okay, so we've got the top piece installed. You're gonna have to cut a 45 to finish out that 90, and then go ahead and cut your next one, and come up to this line right here that we marked. Once you get that top piece installed, we'll do this right side the same way we did the left. In our case, it's going to be an extra layer of an extra step, because we're going to have to cut this trim off the wall. So I'm going to head out and go ahead and flush cut that last piece of trim for this windowsill, and then we'll get a measurement for the top, and then that will give us an idea of how far back we're going to have to cut this trim. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've made the flush cut and the last 45 to finish this 90. With our wainscoting trim that's in the way, I'm going to go ahead and lay this on the wall and try to eyeball about where our reveal is. And I've made a mark on the trim roughly where it needs to come out. What we will do though is this trim is 2 1/4 wide, and we know we have a 2/16 inch reveal from the window casing, so that comes to 2 6/16. So we'll measure back and correct it or count it up against the mark that we made, and we'll go ahead and make that clean cut. Okay, so we've got the trim from the wainscoting out of the way. As you can see, it's cut out perfectly. Going to give us our reveal that we need, our space that we need for our trim. So we'll just do like what we've done with the rest of it. We'll put it up, we'll mark the final inside measurement, cut it with the miter saw, and nail it up, and it should be ready to go. Okay, so now we've got all the trim up, and the final step will be using some silicone caulk. Fast dry by DAP is what I like to use. Dries in 20 minutes and ready for paint. A tip that I picked up along the way is if you use some soapy water on your finger, it lets the caulking come off real easy and you don't make a mess. So we'll go ahead and start caulking this bottom line. I like to keep the tip of the caulk ahead as I go. It helps push the caulking into the crack. And just a quick dab of the soapy water, and paper towel ready, and you can just wipe out what you don't want. You can get it to what you can finish it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all the nail holes and all the bottom and cracks, and this window will be painted, or this trim will be ready to paint in 20 minutes. All right, so we've got this window finished.
It's painted, the blinds are back up. I hope this video helped you learn how to trim a window out, and if you'd like to subscribe to this channel and see more videos like this, please do, and don't forget to like and share to your friends. So thank you, and this was Kirkpatrick Woodshop.